Hi guys, and welcome back to one of my videos. This is a new video that I want uh, to to present one of my last creations. It is the Ansaldo Fossati TCA60. Ansaldo Fossati was a company operating in Genova from after the Second World War until the 80s, I guess. And they were specialized in producing items and heavy equipment like heavy tractor, trucks, and so on. And Ansaldo was a very, very good manufacturer in Italy, providing these items probably after the Marshall Plan of helps that Italy had after the loss of the Second World War. So all the projects were anyway influenced by American technologies, and they were under American control, of course. And this TCA60 is quite cute because it's very similar to the small Caterpillars, even if it has its own particular shape, the typical bonnet, the typical front end with the logos and so on, and it's basically a scratch build model. I made this in 135 scale. Usually the agricultural Scala is around 132 to have in common a lot of details coming from the 135, but I wanted to build up this in 135. It's very similar to an item that I already made a couple of years ago, that was the AF8. It was quite bigger, like slightly longer and a little larger than this in 135 scale. This is the second one that I did, and as I said, it's mostly a scratch build because the only part that I used coming from ordinary kits is the track links. The track links are the one coming from a Caterpillar. They are nearly always identical in this kind of tractor. Is a kind of standard probably for agricultural items. And this Ansaldo featured an Alfa Romeo engine. There is probably you can see also the decal that I placed inside on the engine. To market, it was still quite popular in Italy because it's one of the machines from back in time that they always work, they never have problems, so just enough to fix them a little, give them a fresh battery, and you can have a fully working machine without any problem. And it was very, very interesting for the years where it was produced. This was an item of the middle of the 50s, so it was something that really made the rebuild of Italy after the war, and this build was extremely fun, even if very, very hard, because it is not so easy to find proper measures about these items. It's probably much more easy to find the real Caterpillar in some collection, in some private owning, instead of finding documentation as measures and so on. So you have to use the mostly the similar parts coming from the TCA70. That was the following model, a little slightly different in the part around the track links. The reminding wheels was a little different in another position. They had a little different part, even if the basic stuff was similar to the previously released TCA60. And this time, differently from the AF8, I wanted to paint it a little more in my way, so to make it a little more used appeal. This is machines that very, very often are just forgotten in fields, and they always work. So I placed some little rust, and I took care of the seat in the way that it have to look a little scratched and refixed, to make it a little cooler than an ordinary standard brand new tractor. I like them this way. And the build up, as I said, was extremely fun, even if quite hard, because it takes around more than 200 hours to build up this subject. Every little corner must be checked with the pictures. I had the lucky to find an auction of this item, the real one, for sale in Italy, and they provided quite interesting pictures, even if in some details you clearly see that the modern example that was for sale have been probably refurbished in some easy way to make it still working, because of this stuff. Surely the aesthetical part and the carrosserie part don't exist any longer, so people that own them probably fix them by themselves, because the mechanical part is anyway always working. That's it. Very, very cool item in my opinion, something different than the usual cars, the usual race cars. and I enjoyed so much to build up, and will be absolutely stunning in my collection. Thanks for watching, guys.